Hello everyone, it's Mesme and welcome to YouTube channel Takeover English version. Let's start our video. Today I've got a very beautiful girl who's going to be the guest host on this channel for today. She is from Brazil and she's a student. I chose her channel because she had a story that was very similar to an experience I had in university, and that's going to be in the video. She's going to tell you all about that, and that definitely made her a stronger person. So I'm very proud to introduce to you Leah from Rootless La Chica Sin Raíces.
Hi everybody, hola a todos. I am Rootless and I'm here today to answer some questions for Mesme, this lovely girl that I have been watching for over a year now. I'm super excited. I hope that what I share with you guys is, enjoyable and helpful, maybe. I am 21 years old. I am Brazilian, but I'm currently living in Europe and Portugal. I'm here as an international student, and I basically have a YouTube channel about traveling, culture, and learning languages, which are huge passions of mine. I absolutely love these things, and there I just share a little bit about my experiences and also some travel vlogs. So let's hop into the questions. I hope I can summarize my answers because I'm way too talkative, but let's try, okay? So what is the most funny thing that happened to you in a foreign country? So I actually have it's actually a cool story from one of my recent trips. It's not funny in the sense that will make you laugh, but it's just funny because it was very improbable. Is that the word? Improbable? Well, it was something that wasn't probable to happen, and it happened. So let me try to summarize this story. I was in Porto for like 2 days. Porto is a city here in Portugal. If you come to Portugal, you have to go there. It's too beautiful, too beautiful. So I was there with 2 more Brazilian friends, and we were, I think, in our second day there. We were inside of one of the churches. There are many churches in there. We were inside of one of these cathedrals, and we randomly met another Brazilian guy. He was also an international student, and then we started to talk, and he was like, oh, can I, spend the rest of the day with you? And we were like, yeah, sure, because he was traveling solo. So it was like, he wanted some company, so we were like, yeah, sure, let's go. So this guy mentioned then that he had made a Korean friend at the hostel where he was, but he couldn't really communicate with him because he didn't speak English. The Korean guy spoke English, but he didn't. So I was like, oh, that's funny, I'm studying Korean. It's not like I can communicate or anything, but I love meeting Korean people when I'm traveling. It has happened a few times here in Portugal, so it's really cool because I get to practice my Korean a little bit. And I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And he was like, oh, I'm gonna invite him. And well, no, that's okay, you don't need to. He's probably, doing sightseeing or something. You don't have to invite him. But he ended up inviting him, and I didn't know. Then we went to a very famous bridge in Porto called Dom Luís I Bridge. And we were there to watch the sunset, the most beautiful sunset, guys. It's amazing. One of my friends, she had actually talked to a friend of hers who lives in Porto. So he met us there, and he was with a group of people. There were people from other Brazilians, then there was a girl from Malaysia, a guy from Belgium. So we ended up becoming this really big group of people, very diverse group of people from lots of nationalities. We were having a good time talking, and then out of nowhere the group of Koreans arrives. The Korean guy arrived with his friends. So from that, the whole thing just turned too funny because the Brazilians were too excited, and they started to teach them how to swear in Portuguese. They started to teach them how to scream like we do in some parts of Brazil. Yay! So they started to teach them that. And they started to repeat that like really loudly, and it just became a whole mess. It was too funny. And after that, I actually was talking to the Korean guy, and he told me that he was actually going to visit my town that same week, in the end of the week. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. So, you know, text me when you're there. I'll take you to see the city and stuff. And he actually did, and he came with one more friend. So it was really nice. We had the best day. I showed them all around my tiny little city. I took them out to eat on nice places. It was just really cool, and we actually ended up becoming really good friends after that. So it's funny because I never thought that would happen, and if I hadn't met the Brazilian guy randomly, I wouldn't have met this guy that also became my friend. And you know, yeah, this kind of thing happens when you travel. So also, Mesmi asked me what are my top 3 favorite foods. So this is a really hard question for me because I love eating and I can't decide what my favorite food is. So I had to think a lot, and I'm still not sure if those are my top 3, but they're definitely on my top 10 at least. So my favorite type of food in general is the food from my region in Brazil, which is the Northeast. We have really good food there. So one of them is like tapioca. Maybe you have heard of it. Sounds more like tapioca if you pronounce it with like an English accent. But tapioca is like made of flour, root that there is in South America. I think in some South American countries they call it yuca. So yeah, I absolutely love. You make kind of like a tortilla with it. It looks a little bit like a tortilla, and you can fill it with many good things. So I absolutely love it. It's probably one of my favorites. It's on the top 3. Then there is a type of meat also from my region in Brazil that's called carne de sol. Carne is meat and sol is sun. So it's basically a meat that's like put in the sun, and it's like dried, and they put a lot of salt in it. I think it's curated, the word, I'm not sure. But anyways, it's a special type of meat and I absolutely love it. Too good. Also, there is couscous. Couscous is a little flour made of corn. Yes, corn. And it's really yummy. We cook it in vapor, and in different parts of Brazil, people add different ingredients to this flour when going to eat it. So like in my region, we usually put either cheese inside, or this meat that I just told you guys about, or you can eat it with like fried eggs, or just some people just like to wet it in milk and eat it. So it's really yummy. I love it and I miss it because here in Portugal I don't have it. What is the advice you would give someone who's too scared to go abroad? My advice is go. No, for real. I think sometimes we underestimate our own capability of taking care of ourselves. At least that's what happened to me before the first time I actually traveled completely by myself. And then I realized that, you know, I'm capable of, you know, doing the basic stuff. I'm capable of reading a map. I'm capable of paying attention and staying safe. I'm capable of dealing with my money and how I'm going to spend it. I'm capable of planning what I'm going to see and to do. So don't be scared of traveling abroad. I know it might be intimidating because of maybe language barrier or because just the environment is different, but don't be intimidated. It's always a really enriching experience. Also, there's something very simple that you can do to make you less worried when it comes to traveling abroad, which is plan yourself way in advance and very well. And what I mean by that is, you know, have your finances figured out. Like, what are your priorities for your trip? Do you want to see more attractions, or do you want to have a more gastronomic experience? And you need to make sure that you have enough money to cover your expenses and also for in case of emergency. Have health insurance, that's really important, and also traveling insurance, it's also very, very handy. Always keep in mind the, very well-known basic safety, general common sense recommendations, and you should be perfectly fine. If you could turn back the time, what would you say to yourself 10 years? So 10 years ago, I would probably tell to myself to study more. I'm a really good student at the university actually, but back when I was in high school, I wasn't in my fullest potential, but it's because I didn't study as hard as I should have. So I feel like if I had studied more in both, middle school and high school, I feel like I would have more opportunities to study abroad in my college years. There's many scholarships out there. So if you're thinking of studying abroad in the future, start studying really well from school. There's one last thing I'm going to share with you, which is in every single place that you go to, you're always gonna meet nice people and not so nice people, right? So one thing that sometimes happens, unfortunately, everywhere, okay, I'm not saying this because I'm in Portugal, it's not that Portuguese people are like this or like that, it's just you encounter people like this everywhere, okay? And what type of people I'm talking about? I'm talking about people who have some sort of prejudice against where you come from or the way you look or what you do, whatever. For me, the worst experience I had with this was actually in class. I was making a presentation along with 3 more Brazilian classmates, and well, Portuguese people and Brazilian people speak the same language, right? It's Portuguese. But of course, because of the separation, there are some differences in like accent and also in the vocabulary that is used. So while I was making the presentation, it was not just me, it was me and my friends. We sometimes used some words that are more Brazilian vocabulary, and the teacher at some point, she just decided to use that to make fun of us, and she actually turned, like she was sitting in the front of the class, and she actually did like this and turned to the class, and I was like repeating things the way we said, like mocking us and laughing, and she was like, "Oh, learn, that's how you say it." And that was very uncomfortable. I felt just really I'm not even gonna say humiliated. It didn't affect me to the point when I felt like down, because this kind of experience should make us stronger. But it did affect me in the sense of like, why would anybody do that, But anyways, I didn't answer, I wasn't unpolite or anything, I just listened and basically shut up. But you don't have to be ever ashamed or embarrassed of your origins, of the language that you speak, of your culture. Do not do that. Do not let yourself be let down by such comments. These things are bound to happen when you live abroad and even when you travel, okay? But don't let those things let you down or ruin your experience abroad, because there's so many good sides to it. Plus, that's a crime and you can always search for help if you need. Thank you so much guys for watching. I hope this video was enjoyable, and I really thank Mesmi for inviting me. Many kisses for you, Mesmi. I hope to meet you in person someday, maybe when I go to Korea. It's on my dream list, going to Korea. So yeah, thank you so much. Bye guys.